Good morning, Hustle Nation. Today, we're talking 7 signs you're headed for financial disaster, but more importantly, what you can do about it to turn that ship around. And if you stick around to the end of the show today, I'm actually going to give you a strategy that could put $300 to $600 per month back into your household from strategy, not sales, not anything but a simple strategy, ladies and gentlemen. So do me a favor, go ahead, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, and don't forget to smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. I want to give you a free shout out for those of you who are in business doing your thing, man. I want to love on you a little bit. So let me know where you're from, the name of your business and or your brand. Just do not post any links, and we're going to go ahead and kick it. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, Ultimate Hustlers, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur for MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. And listen, if you click on the link in the description, I want to give you guys a copy of my book, absolutely free. You just cover the shipping. All you got to do is go to MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com/free book. And for a limited time, not only will you get this book for free, you get one of my most popular online courses called How to Become an Influencer. That's included, and you get instant access to that. So check out the link in the description or in the show notes if you would be interested in a copy of my book, Monetize My Life, 4 incredibly simple ways to turn your passion into profit with little to no startup cost. You guys know how we do it. Comment the name of your business and or your brand. And if you comment one of your biggest takeaways for today, then you get entered into a drawing to win a free vacation. And we give our vacations away at noon on every Wednesday. So that is today, ladies and gentlemen. And huge shout out to my syndication partners, the Empowerment Network with Lisa Santiago McNeil, Brian Keith McNeil, the BBC TV, that is my man Evan Jefferson, also the ERGJ Enterprise page. So shout yourselves out, because if you ain't shouting you out, I don't know who is. Couple quick announcements, and we're going to get into the 7 signs you're headed for financial disasters, but more importantly, what you could do to turn things around. You guys know we're doing our free vacation today. So when you comment, if you want to be entered into the drawing, put the keyword takeaway and then your comment. And that's how I know that you want to be entered into the drawing. If you have not already supported this page, for those of you who love watching on Facebook, $5 a month, you can join Hustle Nation And I'm going to help you advance your hustle, put more money in your pocket. How do we do that? We do that with helping you with your entrepreneurial mindset. We do that with helping you with your branding and your marketing. We do that with helping you grow your money. And last but not least, guys, if you know anybody who is renting an apartment or renting a house or leasing and they desire to own, you've got to tag them in this video and tell them about our Fire Your Landlord program. That's right. We have everything that you need to position yourself to buy a house this year. If that's you, comment Fire My Landlord, right? And I can get you the information on our program. But literally, we got the resources to get your debt to income ratio fixed. We got the resources to get your credit score up where it needs to be. We've got the lenders already in place. We've got the investors that can get you in the property of your choice. We got the realtors. We got the whole shebang all in one place. So comment Fire Your Landlord or tag somebody that you know that wants to fire their landlord this year and realize their dreams of home ownership. So we're talking 7 signs you're headed for financial disaster and what you need to do about it. Plus, I'm going to give you the strategy to put $300 to $600 per month in your pocket from a simple strategy. But before we do any of that, y'all know I love to start the show with the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. So here is the quote for today. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And that is from the great Stephen Covey. Ladies and gentlemen, we often hear that your net worth is derived from your net work. Most people have no idea how to network and create relationships because you know why? They're always seeking to be understood first instead of seeking to understand first. I was at a weekend conference this past weekend in the ATL with my coach and mentor, Brian Bean, and our amazing team, the Extra Digit Movement. And all we talked about is the power of, number one, overcoming fear, but number two, the power of listening. See, when you listen, you are seeking to understand, but you know how you take it to another level is you learn how to ask questions. Be engaged with people. Ask them questions so that they can answer and you can listen to understand, not listen to respond, not listen to get your point across, not check out in the middle of the conversation. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. When you're building rapport and connection with people, especially when you're meeting somebody for the first time, I've got a great little book that I like to use. I thought I had it right here. It's called The Art of Dealing with People. It says, if you want to make a good first impression, let people know that you are impressed by them. And you can do that by seeking to understand. Somebody tells you something amazing about themselves, be present in that moment and be in awe of that moment. And then ask them questions about that moment so you can understand more about how that moment made them feel. You can understand more about what they plan to do from this moment based on what they're telling you. And be present. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. That's how you create genuine connections with people. And when you do that, those people will usually reciprocate. And they'll be like, man, tell me a little bit about you. And now you can seek to be understood. That is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. Y'all know for the month of April, which is Financial Literacy Month, we're doing money affirmations with my man, Milt Freeman from EFI Financial Education Services. So let's drop in on Milt Freeman's today's money affirmation.
Today's financial affirmation. Money is a powerful tool for helping myself and helping others. Money is a powerful tool for helping myself and helping others. I accept and appreciate all the money that comes into my life, as the better I take care of my money, the better I can take care of those who depend on me, the better I can assist those who cross my path. I'm Milt Jr., EFI Financial Education Services. EFI, Exercise Financial Intelligence.
That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of exercise and financial intelligence, we've got to get to these 7 signs that you're headed for financial disaster and what you guys need to do about them, how to recognize them. Because when you recognize them, most people are making mistakes in their finances and their money, and they don't know where those mistakes are going to lead them to. And ultimately, because they don't know where the mistake's going to lead them to, they keep making the same mistake until it becomes a habit. And then it becomes a habit, and that habit leads you to financial disaster and destruction. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining the show, make sure you comment in the chat where you're from, the name of your business and or your brand, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. So the number 1 sign, so these aren't in any particular order, but we're doing the 7 signs that you're headed for financial disaster. And if you guys want this resource and a lot of the resources that I use on this show, you have to join our private Facebook group, Wealth Creation Playbook. Just go to facebook.com/groups/Wealth Creation Playbook, and you can get these resources in the file section of that group. So 7 signs you're headed for financial disaster. Many of us are good at ignoring the negative trends in our lives. Maybe we refuse to acknowledge a growing waistline or a relationship that's slowly deteriorating. Many people also ignore the signs of impending financial disaster. Most personal financial meltdowns happen over time. They're rarely the result of a one-time event. So here's the key, guys. Success is not built in a day, but it is built daily. The same is true, guys, for failure. Most people don't fail overnight. There's not a huge event that creates the failure. There's a lot of little bitty missteps along the way that lead to that negative outcome. The warning signs are quite clear. You simply need to look and be honest with yourself. Do you recognize any of these signs in your finances? Number 1, you overdraw your checking account more than once a year. When you're already struggling to pay your bills with your available income, overdraft fees only make the situation more challenging. Overdrawing your account can be a symptom of these things: poor money management. Some bills simply take longer to clear than others. It's important to do whatever it is necessary to stay on top of your pending balances. It can also be a matter of simply failing to pay attention. Having good finances requires regular attention. It could also be a symptom of overspending. Do you have a budget? Are you sticking to it? Ask yourself, why are you running out of money before you run out of month? And if this is a consistent pattern, eventually it leads to financial disaster. Now, I ain't telling you what I heard, people. I'm telling you what I know, because I've been down this road. I've been there where at one point in my life, I literally saw the overdraft protection in my bank account as like a payday loan, right? I'm like, man, a payday loan is going to charge me this much. I would just rather overdraw my account in the bank and then pay the bank back with my next paycheck, right? And I operated like that for months, guys. Didn't know that I was headed for financial disaster. So you got to recognize the signs so you can start corrective action, right? And again, your corrective action in most cases is not going to fix the problem immediately, right? in most cases, but you can get on the path to correcting this action, right? Number two, you're talking about the 7 signs you're headed for financial disaster and what you need to do to fix it, right? And then I'm going to show you why you're leaving money on the table if you're not implementing this one strategy. Could be costing you $300 to $600 per month. Number two, you're at or near the limit of your credit cards, right? These are signs that you're headed towards financial disaster. And some people are closer to that financial disaster than others. And these signs, this may be the first month that you maxing out your credit cards. You'd be like, oh, well, I'm going to make these payments and I'm going to get those bills back down, those balances back down, right? But then month 2 happens and it's like, man, something came up. I needed the money for this, that, and the other. And next month, I'm going to get these credit card balances back down, right? Your credit score starts to take a hit when you're above 35% utilization. So not only does maxing out your credit cards put you closer to financial disaster, it also starts to tank your credit card, right? There are 2 big factors that make up about 70% of your credit score, and that is payment history and credit utilization, right? And if you want to participate in a free credit education challenge, then you should join Wealth Creation Playbook, right? Because next Monday, we're starting a 5-day credit education challenge inside of that group, right? So credit card utilization starts to take a dive at about 35%. On a card with $5,000 limit, that would be anything above $1,750. If you're in this situation, you may be tempted to acquire another line of credit. In most cases, this is only a short-term solution with a poor long-term outcome. This is what's happening to people. My credit card is maxed out, so I'm gonna go get another credit card. And then I'm gonna ultimately, because of my habits, end up maxing out that card too. And before long, I got 3, 4, 5 cards with $5,000 balances, $3,000 balances, and they're all maxed out. Now I'm in credit card debt to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars, right? And that is a downward spiral that most people find themselves in. So figure out where you are with your credit card balances and make a corrective plan to start paying more than the minimum so you can start knocking those things down. If you guys are not familiar with my man, Denzel Rodriguez, somebody I had on my show last fall, he talks a lot about what's called velocity banking, right? And that's where you understand how to use the bank's money to pay the bank back. It's a whole strategy around leveraging all of your income to really focus on eating away all of your debts. It's like what Dave Ramsey talks about is the snowball method. It's like the snowball method becoming an avalanche, so to speak. I mean, it's like adding fuel to a fire, right? If you really want to get out of debt. Now, if you want to have our Financial Edge membership and work on your debt, then we can talk about how you can partner with us in our wonderful membership. And we have done for you experts that will help you with all of these different strategies. So number 1 sign that you are headed to financial disaster is overdrawing your checking account, right? It said more than once a year. I think more than once a month, right? If that is you, because I was there. I was like, every single month, I was like, I'll get to the end of the month and I'll run out of money and I will overdraw my account on purpose, right? Because I was using their money, I thought, as like a payday loan. And that's you just headed for disaster, right? And it ended in disaster for me over time, right? It didn't end in immediate disaster, but over time, I just kept compounding that situation, right? Number two, you are at or near the limit of your credit cards. Anything over 30% is starting to hit your credit score and bring your credit score down. But when you maxing out those cards, you are headed for financial disaster. So we're going to finish up those next 5. But before we do that, we've got to get into 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. 1 minute motivation is where I play a short motivational clip and you give me your takeaways. Remember, you have to put the keyword takeaway before your answer, right? So that I know that you want to be entered into the drawing. Here's something else I want you to do. Also, give me what you're going to do with the takeaway. How are you going to implement that, right? Don't just say, oh man, that was a dope point. Okay, it was a dope point, but what are you going to do with that point? That was a dope point. I'm going to start today picking up a book to help me exercise that point, right? You have to start creating micro plans of action when you learn something new. So let's get into the 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
The only thing that's going to make you happy, my friend, in this year or any other, is to step up. It's to raise the standard. It's to discover what you're capable of and feel that incredible power of pushing through whatever's holding you back and get to the other side of more of your true self. Don't let this year be like last. And if last year was great, still don't let it be that way. Raise the standard. It's not what we get that make us happy. It's who we become and what we're able to give because we become more. You want to know how to change your life? I give it to you in 3 words, boring as it sounds. Raise your standards.
There is no excuse for not living up to the fullest potential. No excuse. And I stopped being a victim. I stopped saying I've got to wait for good things to happen to me. And I said I'm going to grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I'm going to press forward. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do everything in my power every single day. I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. But winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, it's going to become a culture.
Winners win, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I'm telling you, that fires me up. Comment in the chat, man. What did you get from that video? One of the reasons I love the 1 minute motivation is because we all heard the same clip, but something spoke out to each of us differently. He said 2 words, man. You don't like where you are in your life? Step up. Raise the standard. Man, that was rich. Raise the standard, right? Uncover the true power of yourself, right? Uncover your true self. That is so, so, so important, so powerful. A lot of us don't know what we're capable of because we're scared to push it to the limits, right? Imagine somebody in the gym lifting weights, and all they do is lift the amount of weight that they are comfortable with. They never know what they are capable of because they refuse to push the limits, right? I train young athletes from time to time, starting with my sons and others. And sometimes I put all of this weight on the bar and the kids are looking like, what do you expect me to do with that? See, they don't even know their own power because no one has challenged them to push it to the limit, and they have not learned how to challenge themselves to push it to the limit. They get under that thing, and I put my hands under to spot them, and I let them go for it, and they think I'm helping them. I'm not. It's all them, and they don't realize it's like, man, I had no idea, coach, that I could lift that much. So now you set a new standard. Now you set a new standard. So now you never lift anything less. When we get in the gym and we run our sprints, I don't have them race each other. I have them race the clock, because when you're racing another person, you fall into a position where, and this is where comparison can really hurt you, even when you're trying to grow, right? The person who's the fastest in the gym, it's funny when you watch this happen. If you've been working with athletes for a while and kids, the person who's the fastest in the gym and the person who always comes in second, third, fourth, it doesn't matter if the fastest person in the gym is running his fastest, but after a while, you become conditioned that I'm supposed to be second. So even when the person who's the fastest is not running as fast as he can, you still come in second because you condition your mind that that's where you're supposed to fall in rank. But when you race that clock, it's consistent. So when I get you to run a down and back full length basketball court, 94 feet and 12 seconds or less, then you will never in my gym take longer than 12 seconds to run a down and back because you've proved where your standard is. You guys get that? I hope I didn't go on a tangent and mess you guys up, but you have to raise your standard, right? It's not about what you have. It's about who you become. It's not about what you have. It's about who you become. And then E.T. said, stop being a victim. Because when you are playing the victim, you lose. And if you're always playing the victim, you're always losing. And then losing becomes your culture. Man, that's heavy. That is heavy. So that is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. And listen, if you guys want to get a copy of my book for free, Monetize My Life, 4 incredibly simple ways to turn your passions into profit, all you got to do is click the link on or around this video to get your free copy. You cover shipping and I cover the cost of the book, and boom, it is yours. And for a limited time, if you act fast, I'm also including a copy of my free course on how to become an influencer on social media. You get immediate access to that, and the book is shipped out to you once you cover that shipping cost. So click the link on or around this video if you'd like to get a copy of that. So we're talking about the 7 signs you're headed for financial disaster and what you need to do about it. And at the end of the show, I'm actually going to give you the #1 key or strategy to putting $300 to $600 per month back into your pocket. So stick around for that, ladies and gentlemen. #1 was overdrafting your account more than once a month, right? That is a clear sign that you are headed to financial disaster. Credit cards at the limits, maxing out those credit cards or being near the limit all the time. That is a sign that you, my friend, are headed to financial disaster, right? #3, relying on a future one-time financial event. Guys, you're headed for financial disaster. What do I mean by a future one-time event? Counting on an inheritance or big tax return to be the balance of your financial situation is a sign of significant debt, right? It's like, listen, when I get my tax refund, I'm going to catch up on all of my bills. When I get my tax refund, when I get my stimulus check, when I get this windfall of money, when I get my bonus is when I'm going to catch up on everything. Man, you are playing with fire, ladies and gentlemen. It's important to arrange your finances so that your situation is under control without the need for periodic injections of extra income just to get by. And that's the key phrase, guys, just to get by. See, those periodic infusions or injections of cash should be used for building wealth. See, you got to put yourself in a position to where you're paying this month's bills with last month's money, so that when an infusion of cash like a tax refund, which you shouldn't be getting in the first place, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But when that infusion of cash shows up like a stimulus check, you can use that to invest. You shouldn't have to be using these infusions of cash to catch up on bills. They should be used to grow your money, right? Imagine if every year, man, I should pull up my financial calculator. Imagine if every year, if you are in a position where you're getting a tax refund, imagine every year you're putting that $5,000 into a investment that's getting you 16% return on your money. Just imagine that for a second. Every year, because I'm so straight financially, I've gotten myself in the rhythm. I manage. I'm not running out of money before the end of every month. I do get a tax refund, or I do get a stimulus check. I do get a bonus on my job every quarter, every year, every semi-annually. I take that extra bonus money and it goes right into my investment account where I'm getting 16% return on my investment. And I know what you're saying, Cortez. Where the heck we getting 16% return on those investments? Well, I invited you all to join Hustle Nation. If you subscribe to Hustle Nation right here on Facebook, that is our private Facebook group for my subscribers, $5 per month. I've got a course in Hustle Nation where I showed you 3 different mutual funds that you can get double-digit returns. One was 13%, one was 15%, and one was 16. No, one was 12, one was 13, and one was 16. If you don't have $5 to invest in yourself, to join Hustle Nation, I'll put the link in the comments here in a second. Join Hustle Nation. If you don't join for nothing but that, you know what that would do for you? That will have your retirement, your 401k, or whatever you're doing, your IRAs, your Roth, that will have your retirement accounts doubling every 5 years or so. Now, how you like those apples, right? So stop relying on one-time events. Get yourself together where you have more money at the end of the month so that you can start building an emergency fund, so that you can start investing and growing your wealth. Number four, a failure to save any money. These are signs that you're headed for financial disaster. And we're going to talk in a few minutes about what you could do, and my number one strategy to get you a $300 to $600 increase in your monthly income, right? Failure to save money is another one of these signs. If at the end of every month you don't have any money left over, and you're not peeling any money off the top to put into your investment, to put into your savings, then that's a sign that you're headed for financial disaster. A deposit into your savings account can be viewed as just another expense. If you're unable to make that payment, you're headed in the wrong direction financially. All it takes is one unexpected bill or the loss of a job, and you're in dire straits. Savings is a better financial cushion than credit, right? Now, that's debatable. That's debatable. But the point is, you cannot have $3,000 of net income and be spending $3,000 every single month. You have nothing left to save. Now, when I say save, I'm not talking about parking your money in a savings account where you're getting 0.75% or sometimes 0.075%. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you don't have money left to park somewhere where you're getting a decent return on your investments, right? And here's what you can do. A lot of you guys will say, Cortez, I don't know what to invest in. Everybody should have 3 major accounts, right? Probably 4 now if you consider cryptocurrency, but you want to have a checking, savings, and a brokerage account, right? Those are the 3 main accounts. And my man, Evan Jefferson, will say you probably need a crypto account, Coinbase or something like that, so that you can get access to the cryptocurrency market as well. But even if you don't know what to invest in, ladies and gentlemen, make it a habit to move money from one account to the next. And I'm not saying from your checking to your savings. I'm talking take money from your checking account and move it to your brokerage account, right? And you let that build up as you're learning different investment strategies. So when it comes time to pull the trigger, you already have the money there. So that's just something that you can do. And psychologically, it feels like you're investing and you're just making the habit. And if you could do this from one bank to the next, that's even better. So what I do is you can actually go to fidelity.com and they allow you to create a cash management and a brokerage account at the same time. Right now, I'm not affiliated with fidelity.com and I'm not giving you investment advice, but I'm just saying this is a strategy. You can take your money from your checking account and you can connect it to fidelity.com and you can have it set up automatically that says every time I get paid, $25, $50, $100, whatever it is, goes from my checking account on the day I get paid. Then it goes into this brokerage account where I have no bank card or a debit card or checks or anything to access that money. It just goes over there and it's waiting for me to find an investment to put it to work towards, right? So that's just a little tip, little education on how you can make some of this stuff happen, because you've got to automate this stuff. Otherwise, you'll end up paying all your bills first. There'll be nothing left. And then it's like, hey, I don't have nothing left. But just like Uncle Sam pulls his money off the top, you have to become your own Uncle Sam and pull money off the top of your own deal. When they say pay yourself first, that's what it means. When the money hits my bank account, X amount of dollars every time I get paid goes directly from my checking account through auto transfer to my brokerage account every time, so that I don't have to think about it. And then I look at my checking account balance, and whatever that balance is, I got to make that work for the month, for the week, for the 2 weeks or whatever. Because it's amazing what you can do when that's all you have left, right? When that money goes to Uncle Sam, you don't start trying to spend what you don't have. You're like, hey, Uncle Sam got his $200 out my check, and I got this $1,000 left. I got to make this 1,000 work. Well, guess what? If Uncle Sam got his 200 out of your check and you got your 100 out of your check, you're going to make that 900 work, right? Because we've all been there, right? Think about the last time you were down to your last $20. The last time you were down to your last $20 and you had 3 or 4 days before payday, right? Come on, don't act like you don't know. Well, maybe you don't. I'm going to tell you, I've been there, right? It's amazing how far we can make that last $20 stretch when we got a week to go. And here's usually how it happens, especially in my household. I have 5 sons, right? So I'm down to my last $20 on Tuesday. I get paid on Friday. I got to make this last $20 stretch. I need gas for my car. My wife needs some lunch money. And then on Wednesday morning, one of my sons comes up, hey, Dad, we're going on a field trip today. I need $5. Oh, son, now you tell me. So now my 20 bucks is down to 15. I still need lunch for my sugar. I still need gas for my car to get me through the next few days, right? But it's amazing how we can make that last little bit of money stretch when we have to. You know why? Because we're paying attention. We're focused. What would happen if we pay attention and we focus on the whole lump, not just the last little bit? Does that make sense? We've got to start paying attention to the whole lump and treating it like our last $20 instead of treating it like a harvest, right? So you got to see your money as the seed instead of the harvest. So number 4, a failure to save money is, and not just a failure too, because some people don't, but they have the means. But if you haven't created a situation where you have the means and you're still not saving, then you, my friend, are setting yourself up for a financial disaster. We'll bang out number 5, 6, and 7 on the other side of this break. We got to take a quick break right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash that share button and continue with your takeaways from the day. You can have more than one takeaway if something really struck you, but share your takeaway for today. And also smash the share button. And if you have not already, just tuning in, comment the name of your business and or your brand, man. You never know who might see this feed and want to connect with you based on what it is that you do. So on the other side of this break, we're going to rock out number 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going to give you the number 1 strategy to put $300 to $600 per month back into your paycheck. So keep it locked right here.
Hey, good morning, Wealth Champions. Hey, listen, if you want to be financially successful, then you have to do what financially successful people do. And I know there's a few things that all wealthy people have in common. Number one, they understand that building wealth is a team sport. Number two, they understand the power of capitalism and business enterprise. Number three, they love to use systems and leverage. And number four, they all have mentors. My name is H. Cortez, also known as Financial Health Mentor. And for the last 5 years, I've been helping hardworking Americans get all of these things in place with one single membership. If you want to learn more about that, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. Again, that's myperfectmoneyplan.com. And you're going to get a team of professionals, so you're not building wealth by yourself. You're going to get a system that's going to help you transform your finances. And last but not least, you're going to get some great mentorship to help you execute your game plan. So again, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing our discussion. So welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show on 7 signs you're headed for a financial disaster and what you can do to overcome some of those challenges. So let's see. We were on number 5. Let me just recap first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, overdrafting your account more than once a month. Number 2, you're at or near the limit on your credit cards, and that's how you run your credit card balances. Number 3, relying on future one-time financial events like, man, I'm just going to mess my finances up all year. When I get that tax refund, I'm going to fix everything. Number 4, a failure to save money. You're headed down the road to financial disaster. Number 5, borrowing money from family and friends is another sign of impending financial challenges. Not only is it a sign of financial struggle, it can also be a real strain on your relationships. Most of us loathe asking the people in our lives for money. So recognize the seriousness of the situation if you're considering it. So understand that, man, if you have to rely on these kinds of means to get your bills paid and things of that nature, it could be serious business. And let me say this to those of you who are the givers, right? Those of you who are the givers, you are the ones who your family always comes to you for money. Be careful. Be careful. Some of us are messing up our blessings because we are so big-hearted, right? We love to give. My wife loves to give, right? But a lot of times we're giving from our cup. And God was like, I blessed you to have that so that you can take care of your family, right? See, there's nothing wrong with you giving, but you give from your saucer and not your cup. What do you mean by that, Cortez? The Bible says that when I'm blessed and truly blessed, it's going to be pressed down, shaken together, and running over. My cup is going to run over. And if I was in another situation, this is a coffee mug. You know why they serve coffee mugs and most of the time with a saucer? Is because they pour the coffee to the top. And then when you start putting your sugar in there, your cream, it runs over a little bit. And then you're going to end up having some coffee in the saucer. See, the cup is for me and my family. Whatever runs over the cup and spills into the saucer, that's what I have to give to other people. And if there is nothing in that saucer, it does not matter how full my cup is. This is not for them. The cup is for me and for mine. The cup is for me because I did the right things in the stewardship of my resources. But if the cup runs over and there's resources that spilled over into the saucer, then I can take that which has run over and be a blessing to other people. But do not get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to give you my rent money to help you pay your rent when all I have is my rent money. And when you start being that type of giver and you become known for that, because there's something called heroes complex, right? Some of us are just savers, right? Some of us are just, we love to save people. It's called the heroes complex, right? We want to swoop in and save somebody because they're struggling, right? My wife she got it bad, right? Cortez, we can go ahead and do that. You know, you'll make some more money tomorrow. Yeah, but the money that I'm making is to fill up our cup. And when our cup is not full, I don't got it to give nobody. But if the cup runs over and anything in the saucer, have at it, sugar, because we straight based on the cup, right? So take that into consideration. Those of you who give, those of you who are constantly asking, that means that you're on your way to financial disaster. Number 6, you're dipping into your retirement funds to pay your bills. Stealing from your future is a good sign that the present is shaky. And remember, guys, if you join Wealth Creation Playbook, I'm going to have this resource in our file section so that you can download it yourself if you want it. Right? Here's why COVID has created such a great wealth transfer. Right? And I hope I can say this and we can still be friends, because I'm not saying this if you had to do this in order to make it. But when the government said, hey, if you dip into your 401k, then we're going to waive that penalty, right? I know a lot of people who went and accessed that money and they didn't need it. They went and accessed that money only because there was no penalty. Not because they needed it, not because they were behind on their mortgage because they lost their job, only because the government said they could. And let me let y'all in on a little secret. They knew exactly what they were doing when they said it. They knew exactly what they were doing. Wait, if you're going to provide stimulus checks to help people who have been a little bit messed up because they may have lost a job and that kind of thing, then you pumping and promoting that people can get access to the 401k and not be penalized, allow those people to take that money out of the 401k so that those people went out and spent that money, whether they spent it on rent, whether they spent it on paying credit cards, that money still stimulated the economy. So that's a wealth transfer, ladies and gentlemen, because you transferred future wealth that you would have for a right now situation because, hey, I can get it with no penalty. Man, again, we were relying on a future lump sum of money. Well, instead of me struggling and stretching to pay my rent, I'm just going to borrow it from my 401k. Borrowing from your future. It's not good. It's not good. And what people don't understand is the time value of money. They don't understand the power, what happens, the negative consequences of interrupting the compounding interest. Now, I get it. A lot of 401ks are only paying 3-4% on average. But if you interrupt compound interest, then the amount of money you lose when you do that, you can't even calculate it, right? So transfers of wealth are happening, right? In the midst, and there's a lot of sneaky, slick little ways that it's happening. And all of us who experience this COVID situation, we're going to 40 years from now, 30 years from now, 20 years from now, we're going to look back. And the question is, are you going to look back and be happy with the moves you made? Or are you going to look back with regret? Number 7, using a home equity loan to fill the financial gaps, right? Now, using a home equity loan to pay bills or to purchase something you can't currently afford is a dire warning sign. Not only are you financially struggling, you're also putting your home at risk. Think long and hard before borrowing from the equity in your house. Right? Now, I will say this. Again, if you don't follow my man Denzel Rodriguez, there is a financial strategy called velocity banking. This says do not take a home equity line of credit to buy something you don't need. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. But if you understand velocity banking says, I'm going to take the home equity line of credit, say it's $10,000. I'm going to take that $10,000 and I'll pay all of my credit cards off. Why? Because the interest on the home equity line of credit is not compound interest like it is on your credit cards. Right? So I can take that $10,000, I can pay all of my credit cards off. Then I can take all of my income for the month and put it back on the home equity line of credit. And then I might take the $10,000 and put a chunk of maybe $6,500 of the $10,000 I put on my car note to pay my car down. And then next month, I'm going to take my whole $4,500 income and I'll put it back on the home equity line of credit. And I'm chunking down my debt using the bank's money because it's a smaller interest rate and it's not compound interest. It's simple interest. There's a difference. So there's a strategy of using a home equity line, but I agree, don't take a home equity line just to buy junk. Buy stuff, especially stuff you do not need. So those are the 7 signs, my friends, that you are headed for financial disaster. If you recognize one or more of these financial warning signs, do yourself a favor, start working on a solution. When these financial conditions start to pop up, it's usually only a matter of time before things get significantly worse. Make strengthening your finances a priority in your life, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you got to do. That's what you have to do. So I promise you guys the #1 strategy for increasing your cash flow $300 to $600 per month. Some of y'all already know where I'm going with this, but for those of you who are new, if you haven't figured out that a home-based business is the #1 wealth building solution, or I wouldn't say the #1, it is the most underrated wealth building solution that everybody has access to, but few people are using because they don't know this strategy. It's costing you thousands of dollars, right? Thousands of dollars, right? Listen, watch this. If you started a home-based business today, first thing that you should do is go to your HR department and say, hey, I need to get access to my tax withholding certificate. And they're going to say, hey, log into our portal. Here's where you can find it. You're on that certificate. It asks you, right? And this is something else that we're going to do inside of Hustle Nation probably next week and go over this, or I'm going to put some resources in Hustle Nation that you can actually learn how to do this. But you're going to access your tax withholding certificate. You're going to fill it out to reflect that you are a business owner. The moment you do that, you have your employer literally takes less tax money out of your paycheck, or in essence, gives you a pay raise, $300 to $600 per month. Now, we just talked about taking a home equity line and buying junk. You're not going to buy junk. Say that it's on the low end, it's $300 a month comes back into your paycheck. What can you do to start righting the ship financially if you have some of these signs going on? Well, I would take 100 of those dollars and I would use that for building an emergency fund. I would take another 100 of that and I would take that and have it automatically transferred into the brokerage account that we talked about while I'm learning, some things that I could do to invest in. And then I would take the other 100 and I would focus that on high revolving credit card debt, starting with the lowest balance first. So if I have 3 different credit cards, I've got one that I owe $1,000 on. I've got one that I owe $10,000 on. I got one that I owe $8,000 on. Well, I'm going to take $100, pay my regular payment to that credit card, and I'm gonna add that $100 to it until that $1,000 disappears. And then I'm gonna take the $100, plus that regular payment and move it towards the $8,000 card. Why? Because I get a double bang for my buck. When I focus on high revolving credit card debts with the extra money, it not only knocks down the debts and save me that in interest, it also boosts my credit score, right? So I started a home-based business. Because of the home-based business, now I get an increase in my take-home pay on my job, $300 to $600 per month on average. And according to the IRS, 80-something million people have the W-4 form filled out wrong just in general. But if you fill it out correctly and you have a home-based business, that's where the extra windfall of cash comes from. So I bring the extra cash in. I'm strategic with the extra cash. Some of it goes to building an emergency fund if I don't have one. Some of it goes to an investment pot so that I can start growing my money, putting my money to work for me. And some of it goes to me eliminating debt, starting with high revolving credit card debt, because that's going to save me money and interest and boost my credit score. Because I'm now in business, I need to learn how to leverage the tax laws. I thought I had my little handy dandy Sandy Botkin's book right here at my fingertips, but I do. It's right here. I need to learn about the tax laws, right? Because Sandy Botkin says that 7 simple ways to legally avoid paying taxes. And if you don't know who Sandy Botkin is, he is a tax attorney and CPA and former trainer for IRS auditors. So if anybody knows how to legally avoid paying taxes, it's him. And he says the #1 strategy to avoid paying taxes is a home-based business. Everyone needs a side business. Times have changed, and having a job it just doesn't cut it these days if you want to retire. Smart people almost always invest in their time and their money in building something that can grow on the side. There's 2 tax systems. There's a tax system for business owners, and there's one for people with regular jobs. So now you can use the tax code to start writing off things like your rent, like your utilities, like your cell phone, like your internet, some of the meals that you have when you're out talking business, some of the trips that you travel. I went to Atlanta this weekend for a business conference, the whole thing tax write-off, right? This is what you got to understand. And when you save money on taxes from writing off your lifestyle, that's going to put more money back into your hands all year long. So if you want to put $300 to $600 per month back into your household, you ought to think about starting a home-based business. And I just so happen to have a business that you can partner with me on. And guess what our business is? It's a financial education business where we teach these principles and strategies, but we go a step further. We have financial experts that will help you execute these things. So comment financial franchise if you need a home-based business and you want to partner with me. That's it, guys. Till I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.